take flight.
Hey everybody, what's going on? This is your boy Pablo, aka Mama's favorite grandson, aka the bearded wonder, aka the pod boss, aka Pod's gift. And we are back with another panel, another good discussion with two good friends of mine. You know, one you've seen here many a times, and the other
barely.
But when you do see her here, it's always something good. So you know that's always a good thing. And then the other, never seen it here, but it's also a good friend of mine. We did a panel before. The pictures I done put up, you know, from the past, you've seen them. But I'm gonna let these ladies introduce themselves, please.
I am Andrea, aka BP, both the BP bulletins from Are You Serious podcast.
That's right.
Hi, my name is Jorae Williams. I am the host of the Melanin 360 podcast. And I love all things pertaining to Black people and women. That's what I do.
Yeah. And that's why we're here. And that's why we're here today. Today we are here because we want to talk about mental health. And anybody who knows me knows that mental health is a very, very important part of my life. Being a survivor of myself, I take it very seriously. I do not joke about it. I do not play about it. And and I also want to talk to others who have been through similar things to get their perspective on things, because we're all going through it. You know, we're all going through it. A friend of mine always tells me everybody has a diagnosis. Mm-hmm. So no matter what it is, everybody has one. So the people at home who think they don't, who think they're all good and they don't understand why people get depressed, you too have a diagnosis. We just don't know what it is at this point, you know? So we're going to get down to it. Speaking of everybody having a diagnosis, ladies, would you like to tell people one of your diagnoses?
I recently was diagnosed with mid-grade anxiety. And, you know, a lot of people use the terms anxiety and depression as like a buzzword. And I never really knew what it was until I got back into therapy. And my therapist had me go through like a quick, like a quiz, right? She asked me some questions and things. And when she came back, she was like, yeah, you're, you know, mid to high on the scale of anxiety, which answered a lot of questions for me about why I would react to things that I do, you know, in the way that I do. So that definitely is my diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't been diagnosed, but I have been in therapy. Also, when I was 17, I tried to commit suicide. Also, I had postpartum with 2 of my children. So it's a lot there, a whole lot.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. So let's break it down. What does mental health mean to you all?
Man, mental health is, like you said earlier, is so important. And I think that we are just reaching a point where, specifically in our community, where we're talking about it more, and it's more accepted to talk about it. But I think that it's something just like your spiritual health or your physical health. You have to work on it. You have to exercise those muscles. You have to figure out what works for you. And for example, even if Andrea and myself were both dealing with anxiety, her coping mechanisms may not be my coping mechanisms. And I think we have to understand that it's a personal journey. And whatever it is that helps you cope in a healthy way, because a lot of people cope in unhealthy ways, and we may get into that later.
Yeah, because I definitely have.
But make sure that you're doing it in a healthy way. So I think that mental health is also, you know, is people go to therapy, and therapy is important, but there's also other things. It can be your spirituality, it can be your friends, family members, you know, self-care, whatever that may be.
Mental health, it's a journey. I'm slowly learning. Of what works for me. I have been in therapy. My therapist, she broke up with me. she
That's a thing, though.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
She gave me tools, and she was like, "It's time. Take the training wheels off, and we want to put you out there. But I'm here if you need me." So I think for me, I'm not good with being like always keeping up with everything or staying on task, and so now I'm trying to be more consistent. So last night, I went on a solo date.
I saw that.
First time.
I saw that.
I dressed myself.
Too.
Yeah, I
You
dressed
good.
myself up.
Okay.
Curled my wig, put my little lipstick on, and I had a good time. I didn't enjoy the food, but I did enjoy myself. And the whole week I was excited about it. But the day of, I'm just like, I don't know. Do I want to go? Then I'm like, all right, we could just lay down. We ain't gotta go. We ain't gotta go. Then I'm like, no, I'm gonna go. I was gonna try to get some press-ons. The press-ons wasn't sticking. I had a little lip pencil and everything. I had this whole idea of how I wanted to look, but nothing was working out right. So in the back of my mind, it's like, well, maybe I shouldn't go, but I pushed myself to go anyway, and I'm glad I did, and I enjoyed myself.
That is amazing. What are some common misconceptions about mental health that you hear out in the world?
That you're crazy. All you need is Jesus.
You don't leave Big Mama alone.
Especially if you're dealing with something after a trauma. Girl, it's been a month. It's been 2 months. You need to, pull yourself up and get out of bed and, just move on. I would also say definitely people just not wanting to take the time to understand, or because it's never happened to them or because they've chosen to ignore, like you said, their own diagnosis. Yours is just kind of like, okay, she being extra.
Extra, yeah.
Yeah.
I think a misconception, I had talked with my dad a while ago. And I guess the thing is pitting traumas against each other. So, like, say if I was raped and another young lady was raped, and he said, well, she was unconscious, but she was raped, so it shouldn't have that much of an impact on her. But there is still trauma there.
Right.
So it's pitting traumas against each other, keeping things in-house no matter what it is.
Black people, we gotta stop doing that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Tell on Uncle Joe.
Yes.
Or Uncle whoever it is. Like.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. We don't talk to that uncle for a reason. Why? Why is the reason? That's what we need to talk about. We need to talk about why we don't talk to that uncle, or why we don't talk to that auntie, because the aunties are doing it too.
Or they make you dress a certain way when you get somewhere.
Exactly. Okay. Please be kind on this question.
Oh, wow.
What role does social media and technology play in mental health?
I think it plays a huge role.
Okay, talk about it.
Because now, before you would just, I guess, see other people in your neighborhood or at work, at school, and then you might make comparisons. But now it's the whole world. You just have it at your fingertips. So now everybody got BBLs. It's crazy because you want to look a certain way because
we do.
This is what everybody likes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna fix my body this way. I'm gonna do that, and then also not taking the time to deal with your own mental. There was a time where surgeons, they would talk to their patients and understand why they're doing what they're doing. I don't think they're doing that anymore.
I don't think so either.
They just want the money.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, about the pictures and stuff, like, I don't know, guys always swear that they don't post selfies, but as women, do you know how many selfies we take before we post it?
Oh.
Like, y'all did number 36. And 9 times out of 10, it has a filter on top of it. Because we don't want to post anything that looks bad. Like, I'll take a picture and be like, oh, you can see that pimple right there. Or, oh, the lighting wasn't right. Oh, my face looked fat. Let me turn the angle.
But we don't care, though.
But
we care.
We care.
Okay.
And I think that as women, we want y'all to understand, unfortunately, it's not about, like, you are dude. It's about, like, the world.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, anybody can see this picture, so it's a lot of pressure. I also think that with social media, like the saying goes, people always post their highlight reel and not the behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going through your depression or your anxiety or whatever, you get on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, and you see so-and-so and her husband just got back from Jamaica, and that was their 3rd trip this year, and they're beautiful kids, and you sitting at home in your apartment with your dog by yourself, like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? I want to go to Jamaica. Where's my man at? This, that, and the third. But whole time, maybe they only went on that trip because they paid for it and they couldn't back out.
Mm-hmm.
So they gonna take the pictures, or you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah, they could be
at
fighting.
home.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or maybe they took their mortgage money from that month to go, to go take that trip. And they're going to come back and be eating pork and beans for the next 3 weeks. And the Campbell's kind.
Oh.
Not even bushes.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Put a little cinnamon on there. Be all right.
And piggybacking off of that, when you post the pictures, we want to look perfect, but then you have other people that's ready to tear it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn down, you reading the comments, and then, whew, it's a slippery slope from there.
It is.
Well, I'm gonna pull the curtain back for you ladies. The men take about 35 selfies as well before we post ours.
Okay.
We don't put no filter on it, but, well, some men do. But a lot of us don't put a filter. We just throw it up there, see who likes it, and we instantly in the DMs. So we crazy like that.
Thirst traps.
Yeah, we instantly there. So, like, oh, you liked it? Hey, how you doing? What's going on? So, the impact of the pandemic. How has COVID affected women's health, mental health, in specific fashion?
Wow.
Because we was all looking rough back then. We was all looking rough.
Yes. So. Luckily for me, I was one of the ones that was lucky enough to not be alone during the pandemic. I, was, in a relationship and all of that. We had a house full of people. So I know some people felt very isolated during that time, especially because, you couldn't see your elderly family members and things like that. But one thing that did affect me was I gained weight during the pandemic. I'm in there making, did y'all know was a such thing called buttermilk swim biscuits?
I made them like a couple months ago.
Yeah. Swim biscuits because they're swimming in butter.
Yep.
They're delicious.
See,
but
that's crazy.
Yeah. But I say that to say I'm making stuff and eating it and just, you just sat around like a bump on a log because there wasn't really anything left to do. And what that does is for a lot of people, it allows you to ruminate in your head in whatever diagnosis that you may have had that you were able to mask under work and ripping and running. There was nowhere to go during COVID, which is why a lot of divorces happened after COVID, or a lot of relationships broke up during and right after COVID, because, or you saw a lot of children acting out because there was no social interaction. So I definitely think that played a role in highlighting some issues that were already there. People didn't just get anxiety from the pandemic. It was already there. You just didn't see it, or you weren't dealing with it. That's just my opinion anyway.
Mine too.
For me, it didn't affect me much because I was still working courthouse or essential.
Yeah, you had going.
But not essential. But anyway, we were still going. and I had my children, the only thing I think for me, well, for my children, I have two daughters and I have a son, but it was my two daughters at the time. They were in cheerleading, so once COVID hit, everything shut down.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest daughter, she was flourishing, she was starting to come out of her shell.
Yeah.
And then after, she regressed.
Gotcha.
And so a year later, then now she having all these issues, so had to put her in therapy to see what's going on with her. So for me, that was the issue for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in a relationship during COVID, and she gained weight, but I lost weight. I lost a lot of weight. Actually, I don't know. I lost like 40 pounds.
You wasn't eating the biscuits?
I wasn't. We turned like pescatarian over because we couldn't get too much thing. You know, we weren't going outside. We weren't playing with nothing. So yeah, I lost. I got like super skinny during the pandemic. So, and I saw the effect on her of me getting smaller and her, you know, getting a little big. She didn't get like a whole bunch bigger. She got a little bigger. And yes, I understand that. And the kids are definitely crazy. I work inside the schools. We call them pandemic babies. We can point them out. We know which ones was the pandemic baby.
He's too, but
Yeah.
that little boy is.
Yeah, he act like them. He does act like them. But yeah, so yeah, I totally understand that. I see that. I see y'all because y'all definitely had to go through a lot because you're still women and you still had to, you know, take care of the house and all that good stuff while going through that too. So appreciate y'all. Oh, see, that's why y'all already talked about it. I was going to talk about body imaging, but okay. What's the biggest barriers preventing women from seeking mental health support? And how can we reduce the stigma so they can actually go out there and go get some help?
I think for Black women, we have to be superwomen. So we don't want to see, we don't want anyone to see any cracks or anything. We want everyone to see that we got it. And I think we have to learn or find a community of people where we can kind of take off that cape and relax. But it's hard to, because when you start breaking down everything, then you feel like you're being judged, or somebody might say, hey, they might suggest some things like, hey, go see a therapist or go do this, and it's for your benefit, but you feel like they're attacking you.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think another big obstacle is time. Piggybacking off of what you said about the fact that we're doing so much. So I had shared with you before that I lost my father 3 months ago this week. And I was his caregiver for basically all of this year until he passed away. And I am the oldest child and oldest daughter. And, you know, I like to call myself the family manager.
Yeah.
And so, you know, on top of caring for my dad and being there for my brother and working and dealing with life, you know, my grandmother was also sick, and, you know, I'm the middle grandchild, but I was that grandchild that everybody called for everything. And, you know, a girlfriend of mine was like, you know, since you're going through so much, like, I really need for you to call your therapist. This was probably about 6 months ago. And I'm like, but when am I going to be able to have time for an appointment? There is no time. You know, doctor's appointments and hospitals and work and projects and travel for work, there is no time. So what do? We put ourselves on a back burner because everybody else is so much more important. And the downside to that is I broke a couple weeks ago. I'm not trying to get off topic, but I had a breakdown and everything just came crashing. And I went off the grid for a week. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I wanted to stay in bed all day. Like, it was a thing. And people need to understand that that is a real thing and that can happen if you push yourself to the brink like that. And so I think that we have to just sometimes, even if it's your kids or whoever, we have to ask for help, and we have to say, listen, I need a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a weekend, like you said, you went on a solo date.
Mm-hmm.
I have another girlfriend of mine. She leaves the kids with the husband, and she goes and gets a hotel room overnight or something like that, just so she can just zen out. And that might just be all you need every other month or something, just to get away.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for us, we have to build that time in, because we don't do it for ourselves.
Yeah, it's not odd, but as black men, we feel the same way, that we gotta hide all of that, and then you all also have to hide all of that. So we're both hiding and just doing, and not actually coming to terms with what's going on with each other. Like communication is definitely the key.
That, and people wear it well.
Yeah.
Whatever they going through. Like, I might say, "Hey, babe, how you doing?" "I'm good. I'm doing good."
You good all day. Like, yep, I'm good to death. I got you. Don't even worry about it. So.
Well, let me ask a question.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the one asking the questions.
You can ask anything you want.
How do y'all feel about the fact that us as a people being so strong? Because I've heard theories about this, about it just being embedded in our DNA to do that.
Yeah.
It's a natural reaction from like being passed down literally from everything that our people have gone through, that we innately just do that because there was a time to not be okay. When was there time to do that? Not in slavery, not in Reconstruction, not in Jim Crow, not in the Civil Rights era, and not even that. Look at what happened this week.
Yeah.
Ain't no time to not be okay.
Right. Like, and that's what everybody said this week. Like, you know what? We've been here before. Let's just pick your boots up. Let's keep working. Like, if we don't take time for ourselves, I truly believe that's why a lot of us break. When you see a lot of us on TV, like just going crazy, maybe unaliving somebody or something. I think it's finally it just broke. Like, we can't do this no more. Like, the pressure of the world is too much for us to bear. And yeah, I truly believe that. So my mom did it. She carried 2 sons. No man around. Like, then her mom came and she got sick. My mom, she carried it. My grandma did the same thing before her. So it's definitely in the DNA. We definitely are trained to do stuff. And my mom told me when I moved out the house, don't rely on nobody else. If somebody moves in, make sure you can carry everything just in case they leave. Like, she always put that in my head. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. What you think, Andrea?
I'm piggybacking off what you said, and when you say your mom told you to make sure don't rely on anybody. Fathers did that to their daughters, and so we at a place where it's like, what's going on? Yeah,
I don't rely on you. You don't rely on me.
And so we stuck, but we want to be taken care of.
Exactly.
We cry on social media. We want this. Want to be in my soft girl era.
Yeah,
but
I want to be in my soft guy era.
Because you can't, because Daddy said don't depend on no man.
Exactly.
He's going to leave.
Like, I'm the one. I will have 22 bags of groceries. Like,
one trip. That's it.
One trip.
I'm so mad they pushed the paper.
I will do that because it's like, I got it. Because as women, and specifically as Black women, a lot of times, and I'm sure for Black men, you can probably say this too, when you have opened up and let somebody come in and care for you and you get burnt, it makes you close off, which adds to whatever diagnosis you have, whether it's anxiety or depression. It just is another layer on top of that. And it's like, you know what? I'm good. I'm just gonna be over here.
And it's definitely, it carries on because the next person that comes, it's not fair to them, but they catch it. Like, yo, like, you're not her, but
this happened.
Right.
But you could be her.
You know what I mean? I don't know. And then, there's always the people who like just that one little thing, like you leave a spoon in the sink. See? You just like last one. They left it all. I was like, come on, man. Like, yeah, there's definitely some things that we need to sit down and talk about. I would love to see that though. A group of us just sit down and talk about it. So But this
I
is a
would
start.
love to do that. Invite me back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is just a start. I hope when they see this, they're like, oh yeah, we can talk about it. We're gonna get that open conversation going. So y'all doing well. I was expecting something totally different. I don't know why. I don't think Andrea, you ever heard my podcast voice before, huh? You always hear me yelling at people. You never heard that.
You quiet in the background.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so workplace as women of color, how does that affect the mental? You know, especially this week. How does that affect
Well,
the
for
mental?
me, I try to just keep my head down, but I think that's just how I just taught myself how to be just from school and stuff. I just go to work, keep my head down, do my little whatever. I might say hi bye, do a little chat here and there, but yeah, that's about it. Except for if I'm wearing something a little tight, and then my manager is pulling up, Andrea, what? What you got on? Wear your jacket. Wear your jacket. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's probably the only downside. But other than that, I don't try to let anything at the workplace affect me because y'all just pay me just to do what I'm supposed to do and go home.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually left a job because of stress and mental health, right? And when the stress of the job started to manifest itself physically, I was like, I gotta go. You know, the older you get, you realize that money isn't everything. Yes. You know, I mean, I had a plan. I ain't just walk out like, you know. I got $20 in my pocket. You gonna make it work.
Black. Just walk it out.
Right. You know, I did have a plan, but I was in a situation with a manager who, if there was a face next to the word gaslighting in the dictionary, right there. And it wasn't just me, it was other people.
Yeah.
And you know, that was experiencing this as well. But in the position that I worked in, I got it a little bit more. And I just was like, I can't do it anymore. You know, so it does happen in the workplace. I think that I can't speak for men because I'm not a man, but I definitely think that there was a little bit extra because he was a man and I was a woman. And I definitely felt like some of the things that he would say to me, he wouldn't have said that to a man.
Gotcha.
You know, I definitely felt that way. And it was like, you talking to me crazy because I'm not as tall as you, I'm not as big as you, or you feel like I don't pose a threat. You're not going to walk in here to somebody that's 6'4", looking you in your eyeballs and saying what you're saying. You just not. So, you know, I've been down that road, but I tell people all the time, if it's that stressful, you know, you might have to look into making a change because it's not worth your health.
Okay. How has this election brought up, you know, with your mental health? Like, because I've seen people just crash out on the internet. And I get it.
I don't think it's crash out worthy.
I don't know, but I get why they're crashing out. But I see people crashing out on the internet all the time. So how does this election, if it affected your mental health?
I don't know if I would say it's affected my mental health. I mean, we only 4 days in, so and we're not even technically in yet, so that remains to be seen. Oh,
they crashed out the night after.
Yeah,
the night after it was crying the whole night. It was crazy.
I was a little let down, but I don't think I crashed out.
Okay.
But I will say, as a Black woman, I'm tired though. I'm weary. I'm tired, and
I'm tired for y'all.
Yeah, and at this point, it is very much. So maybe this is around mental health. I have gone into self-preservation at this point. You know, it's kind of like I don't wish y'all no harm, but I don't wish y'all no luck either. So
that part.
It's about me and you, and I can't with nobody else. And it just is what it is, and I hate to be that way. But that also goes back to that whole, you know, I've been burned. so I'm closing off.
Yeah.
And I guess closing off is not good for your mental health.
It's
right?
not. It's not. Solitary confinement makes people go crazy. So.
Yeah. I'm trying not to get into like little debates and everything, but when I see
they be trying though.
The men talking about the abortion, but they irking my soul because this one guy, he posted something, he was saying like, yeah, he
say his name.
He had made a post about abortion and basically said that women can't use it. You know, it's a one night stand. You can't just go abort the baby now. Like women are just out here just freaking off and just
that's
you know what?
Crazy. Wow.
I'm gonna have all these one night stands and just abort. I'm like, it's not even about that. And then I went and I looked at the statistics. I'm like, there's 11.6 abortions per 1,000 women.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a lot. And he was like, well, multiply that. Okay, well, there was 622,128 abortions per 77 point something million women.
Right.
So it's still not a lot. But even then, it's not even about just women using it as a form of birth control.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more than that. And he has a daughter.
That'd be the crazy. I don't understand that at all.
This is going to affect your daughter. Like
right.
I was telling him, I was like, I had read that it was 2 women who were miscarrying and they died because they couldn't. The doctors wouldn't do anything because it was some still cardiac activity.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I think for me, it's more of the audacity of you to tell me what I can do with my body. That is a decision that is made either solely by me or me and the person that I created that child with. It's, barring any of the medical stuff that you were just talking about in general, that is between me and my family.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you, senator, governor, representative,
Ted Cruz,
president, exactly, to tell me, Jorae, you can't do this?
Right.
No, I need, listen, if there are any congressional people out there, I need y'all to put something on the floor about vasectomies or something like that.
Mm.
and that's the crazy thing. It's always policing about us in abortions, but y'all can have vasectomies and get it reversed just like that, and y'all won't have no complications, which is crazy.
So,
but y'all don't want to do that, though.
Exactly.
A friend of mine has a handful of kids, maybe 6 or so, and he's like, she wants some more. I'm like, do you want more? He's like, nah, like she gotta go to the doctor. I said, why don't you just get fixed? He's like, then why don't you get fixed? I was like, if I was in that situation, I probably would, because it's easier for me to reverse it than for her. But yeah, that's just the man's mentality of losing their manhood of. Like if you get it fixed, like I'm not a man right now.
But it still work, right?
It do work. They literally, instead of a 4-lane highway, it turned into a 2-lane highway. That's it. That's the whole process. They just shut it down, and if you want to open it back up, they move the cones out the way, and then you good.
So 495 to BW Parkway.
Exactly. That's it.
Okay.
And
all right.
it only hurts for 2 days. That's it. Like you can go to work the same day. There's people who choose not to.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Like if they'll have like ice on their lap for like 2 hours, and after that they're good. It's like getting your tooth pulled. After a while, it don't even hurt no more. So
Lord have mercy.
But yeah, we don't want to lose the manhood. It's a man thing, Gina. It's a man thing.
I think it goes back to the social media thing.
Mm-hmm.
People keep getting into these arguments on social media. Save yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep scrolling. I had time for a couple people Wednesday morning, and then I stopped. I was like, we're done here. Because I can't do it. Y'all get my pressure up.
Mm-hmm. And they like that. That's the whole purpose. They want to get your pressure up.
Troll post.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I had posted something. I didn't even say nobody's names. They're like, why are you talking about Trump? I'm like, I'm not talking about him. I just posted something with nobody naming it. But yeah, they just want it. So do y'all find, because I know for health, period, it's hard for Black women in particular. Do y'all find it's hard to find mental health help? Like therapists and things of that nature, or even just medication for the mental health?
So I will say this. When I first started my therapy journey years ago, after my mom passed in 13. I found a therapist, loved her. Her mother passed literally maybe a month or two before mine. So not only was she a great therapist, but she actually was able to understand what I was going through. Loved her. So, once she broke up with me and let me go, because that's the thing, like she literally was like, you're coming in here spending money, you're good. Mm-hmm. Like, so when I kind of went off and was doing my thing and I came back for what I like to call a booster, I found out that she was no longer taking insurance because it takes so long to get reimbursed and all of the paperwork. Like, it's a lot. And I guess it's different for therapists because they're not doctors, they're not medical doctors. Mm-hmm. So a lot of therapists now are making you pay out of pocket, and then you have to submit that to your insurance company to get reimbursed. And I did it for a while, but everybody doesn't have access to that. And a therapy session is like $100 some for 50 minutes? Mm-hmm. And if you're not getting that money back, for most people, if I spend money and I don't get it back within a pay period, that money is spent.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
If I put $150 down on the first and I don't get it back till the 22nd, that's gone. Yeah. So for a lot of people, it's hard. If you are on state insurance, a lot of therapists do not take state insurance because of the paperwork and the time involved. So for a lot of people, it's money. It's transportation if you're going to an actual office, or if it's virtual, you have to have reliable internet or a cell phone or a place, because you don't want to do a therapy session, in an open area. You want to be somewhere where it's private. So I think that is a huge barrier, especially for women that are marginalized or on the lower rungs of the economic spectrum.
I haven't had any issues. As for I started therapy with my therapist maybe a year before COVID, and then continued through COVID, and then she broke up with me like 2 years after that. But all I had was a copay because I had my employment insurance. So all I had was a $15 copay, and it was very flexible. We went from in the office, and then when COVID happened, virtual. So, and it had essentials.
Do you miss in-office visits? I do.
I don't know. A little bit, because you feel it's a closeness there, and then holding the phone up and just trying to talk, trying to be comfortable.
I've never had one.
In office visit?
Yeah, everything was virtual.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so mine started in the pandemic.
When I was going before, like, she had an office, and she would have like little lavender candles lit and everything, and I would go and sit on her couch. I didn't lay on the couch. Yeah. Oh, that's the TV stuff.
You real crazy.
But just sitting down and her reaching over and handing me the box of tissues if I needed it, it was very intimate, and it was a closeness. And so I think for me, because I started that way, the Zoom or the Google Meets or, whatever portals that they may have, it's cool because I get to talk to my therapist, but I guess in that way I'm old school. I miss it. I'm like, are you ever? No, you're not.
I think for me the downside was because, in an office it's just you and your therapist. And if you're at home, then you have all these outside distractions. And then I had my son, so he's fussy, so I'm trying to talk to her and cry at the same time. He's crying. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's once the pandemic hit, and it's crazy, the government is always going to find a way to figure out how to make stuff more complicated than what it is. So it may be less of an issue here in the Baltimore area, but living closer to DC, we tend to do things in like that tri-state area. So you can live in Maryland, but your doctor could be in Virginia, and it only be 10 minutes away from you because it's just across the bridge. Yeah. They had a thing now where some insurances wouldn't allow you to do, like, wouldn't allow therapists virtually to take patients from other states. So it really could be like, I live in DC, but my therapist is in Maryland, but now I can't go to you because you're not in DC. So a lot of people had to switch therapists. And I'm like, why are y'all making it hard for people to get mental health help? Or y'all are closing down clinics when people are trying to get help, or defunding these government agencies that support mental health programs and stuff. I don't understand. I don't.
Me neither. Yeah. I was fortunate. She's literally up the road, but here up the road is like 40, 50 minutes. So, but yeah, I've never been in the office. She seems like the cool instant type. It's just I've never been there. So, but yeah. Do better, government, please. Jeez. They will never,
Exactly.
never. I've been working for the state for 4 years now. I've definitely seen it. So family life and mental health, the balance that is necessary. How do you, as women, pretty much quarterback the house? Even though there's no gender roles in the world of 2024, but how do y'all quarterback the house with the mental health? I'm waiting for your answer.
I'm just saying it's a process because I'm trying to take care of them, but take care of myself, and I'm trying to learn how to work through my own issues and deal with my mental health while trying to help my daughters with theirs. Mm-hmm. So it's tough. I think I'm gonna have to. I owe a lot to my middle child. Okay. She's a lot more mature. She's very mature for her age, and she had said to me one time, she was like, I'm gonna be good because I see you got your hands full with Key, and then you got your hands full with Nat. So she just like, you know what, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I feel like it's unfair to her because she lost her dad when she was 2. So I know she's going through some things. Right. So I feel like it's hard. It's hard for her, even though she doesn't let me on. And also, when I was pregnant with my son and I had a gender reveal, I wanted a girl so bad. I wanted another girl because I didn't know what I could do with a boy. And it's a boy, but I cried my heart out. I was so upset. And then my daughter, they was like, this is the first time we ever seen you cry. Mm. And I felt some type of way because they always see me as this strong person. Mm-hmm. Or if I get upset, I go in my room and I shut down. So now I'm trying to open up more. So now I spend time downstairs out in the open. So they all have access to me instead of versus me being in a room. Because if I'm in my room, don't come in my room. Yeah. Leave me alone. Mm-hmm. Leave me alone.
That's how my mom was. That's how my mom was.
Yeah. As a person that doesn't have kids, I would just say, not having kids, but being a caregiver, even before my dad got sick, he wasn't driving and stuff like that. So I still was kind of helping him manage all of that stuff. And fortunately or unfortunately, I am the person in the family that people just go to. Yeah. And it's a blessing and it's an honor and it's not a responsibility that I take lightly. But sometimes it be a lot. It's a lot. And I have to realize that I think that it has started happening by itself so often that now sometimes I take on stuff because I'm just so used to doing it. And so what I'm learning is sometimes I have to say no, or not right now, or somebody else got to do it, or, delegate some things because it'll just get to be a lot. Or sometimes, for us women out there that don't have children, people think that we can do everything because we don't.
Yeah, free time.
Yeah, well, It's Friday. Auntie not doing nothing. Auntie sleep.
Nah.
Okay. I do have other things to do, and so that kind of happens. So, it's just about creating balance, but I know that that's easier said than done in setting your boundaries and making people adhere to your boundaries, whether that's your partner, your children, your job, your business partners, your friends, whoever, your other family members. Like, sometimes you have to put your fences up and tell people, like, no, it's the gate closed today. You come back tomorrow.
Gotcha. Don't want to ask this question, but this is going to be asked because people want to know. How has mental health affected your sex life? Because I know for men, yeah, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. So I'm going to ask you, how does that affect you, though?
I'm going to say full transparency. I am, since my father passed, in addition to the grief, I'm also dealing with a lot of guilt. So I'm working through two different things right now. And I will tell you that my sex drive is, it ain't there. That don't mean I don't think about it or whatever, but and so for women, and I don't know how it is for men, but for us, we have to be stimulated here before, there. And if this ain't together, she ain't gonna follow suit. I say she, but y'all know.
Yeah, we know.
But maybe that's just me. I don't know. But
so for me, I know I've been working through, because I had some sexual traumas and stuff, and I conditioned myself to even still have sex, even if I didn't want to, because there was a time, I was raped. So
y'all women are robots that way. Y'all would do it regardless, but
so I just said, you know what, even if I don't want to, I'd rather give it willingly versus someone trying to take it. So for a long time, even if it wasn't good, if he said, you know what, let's go, all right, cool, come pick me up. But now I'm learning to, if I don't want to, I don't have to, and I'm not going to. And when I was dealing with some issues, I had a miscarriage some years ago, I shut down. I wasn't having sex. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just in a real bad, dark place. And now I see, like, I have to be stimulated mentally too. She's just, Drea, So if I'm not in the mood, if you ain't got me stimulated right, or if you do something that just turn me off, then that's it. It's a wrap. We not doing this.
Okay. And piggyback off of that part, this relationship period, like looking for a man or being in a relationship with a man, the mental health side of it, like, do you express like what's going on with you right away, or do you ease them into that?
It depends.
Okay.
Because in my experience, a lot of men aren't very receptive to mental health issues. Nope. So, if they ask you what's wrong, and you'll say, oh, well, I'm upset about this, or I feel a way about this, or, and if they think it's trivial, or you start explaining, like, I know for men, when we get to talking, sometimes y'all be like, get to the point.
What?
You're like, for real? That's crazy. But, I don't necessarily think that men really understand how emotional we get about stuff. And a lot of men will just kind of be like, oh, you know, babe, it's going to be all right, and hug you. But then they want you to get over it, though. Like, oh, babe, I'm so sorry. You know, it's going to be okay. We'll be about to go eat. And you like, but I'm still upset.
Because food usually helps. So, yeah, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that. So
it does, you know, or we'll be about to watch on TV. Like, for y'all, it's very much like a hug and a kiss and we good. Or, you know, a lot of times y'all think that, you know, adult time fixes everything.
Yeah.
It don't. I please men out there. That ain't all. Y'all think y'all can just whip it out like, hey, and we be like, but no, we upset right now.
Okay.
But, you know.
But that's that armor we put on. You know, that we got to keep going and keep moving. We got to keep moving forward. Nothing can stop the motion. So, yeah. I'm guilty. But yeah.
I'm the shutdown type. So if I'm feeling some type of way, I got to process it myself and kind of try to work through it. If I don't work through it, then maybe I'll speak up on it. I'm single right now, so I don't have well, I do have a guy.
I'm about to say he about to watch this right now.
So I've known him since high school, and we dibble dabble when he's in town because he's a trucker. So I know I can go and talk to him about anything, and he knows I'm this dramatic ass female. I am the epitome of dramaticism. So I will make something seem so much worse than what it is. And sometimes I'm being dramatic, and sometimes I'm really, really feel that way. And I can go to him, and he can tell if I'm just being a little dramatic, or if he needs to like coddle me a little bit. And one time, I had sent him a message and was like, I'm just not feeling myself or whatever. I just need a little bit of time to myself. And he was like, is something specific going on? Like, no, I just need a little bit of time just to not be mom. And then he was like, you know what? I'm going to book you a massage and I'm going to send you some money so you can get something to eat.
That's a good man, Savannah.
Okay. He's a good man. A good man, Savannah.
I got the massage and I got my food and I just laid in bed that whole day and I was so thankful. I love him for that.
Yeah, you know, I would say
you ain't claiming 2 seconds ago. Now you love him. That's crazy.
That's my bad.
I would also say that for men, a lot of times women, sometimes we just want to vent. We don't always want you to come in and solve it because it might not be a problem to solve. With women, it could literally, like I know there was a time where I had an issue where I didn't want to do my podcast via video because I gained weight and I didn't like how I looked. And, you know, he was like, well, you know, you just got to get out there and do this and do that and you're going to be great and you look fine. And I'm like...
Because to us, you look amazing.
Right. But to me, I look like Precious. Right. I was like, I'm big and I'm fat and I don't like it. And I look at the camera and I'm looking like I don't like it. And so...
But you mine and I like how you look. So get out there and record.
And that's exactly how it is.
That's how
in that moment, it wasn't that I wanted you to solve a problem.
Yeah.
I was getting it off my chest, and I just wanted you to be there.
But did you relay that to them?
Communication.
Okay.
You know, that's something that...
Because a lot of us don't know. A lot of us like,
and that's true.
You come to us, we instantly like, oh, gotta fix it.
Because that's what y'all do.
Yeah.
That's in y'all's nature, you know. But, you know, also, for me, tacos works. Every time.
Tacos work every time.
You know, even if it's temporary.
I'm trying to tell you.
A taco, a fajita, you know, all that stuff, it works. I'm just saying.
Okay. So, what, to pick up the massage and stuff, self-care things you guys do for your mental health?
One thing that I love to do,
because people are watching and they're like, I don't know what to do. I'm just sitting here, sitting in it. So this might help somebody.
Sometimes that's
Just to sit in it.
Yeah, so you can feel it. Some people don't like to sit in it. They want to just move around because they don't want to sit.
My aqua sister, I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, they don't want to feel
just
away.
sit. We just sit in it.
Yeah. I mean, sitting in it, like I have a playlist on my phone, and the playlist is called A Good Cry. And it probably has about 20 songs on it that will have you in that corner.
Oh, you need to share that
Over
I
will share it before I leave. And it will have you over there just... But sometimes you have to sit in it. Another thing that I like to do, especially during the spring and summer, I like to go on night drives. Okay. You know, gas is a little high right now, so I don't do as much as I used to. But
when they finish counting the boats, it'll go down again.
You know, when you can open up the roof and crack the windows on a nice 75-degree, 80-degree night with some good R&B, some good 90s R&B music on, and find you some open road, sometimes it just clears your head. Yeah. I love to do that. I would also say, massages and stuff like that. And even just the little things, like just, going to get a pedicure or going to get some good food. You know, I hate that food is my thing. I wish that it wasn't. I wish it was more like,
carbs are my thing. Anything bread that's doughy. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
Yes.
And I ain't never met a piece of fried chicken I ain't like. Yeah. So, food is comfort. Or, sometimes it really is spending time with either a bunch of my girlfriends or maybe it's just one. Because, we all have that friend for different things. You know what I mean? Like I have, certain friends that if I'm going to do something with a dude, I got that one that she gonna bring me out of it. Or if it's something about work, it's, somebody else. So, we might just be over each other's house, chilling, watching Netflix, eating popcorn. You don't have to be nothing special, So that's kind of what I do for self-care.
I journal a lot.
I'm trying to get more in.
My therapist told me to do that. I ain't get to it yet.
But I like to journal, and I need my alone time because I have kids and I have work, so I need some me time to decompress. So that's part of what yesterday was, doling myself up, letting myself know I still got it, get some food. Yeah, that's my thing. I might do a massage or two, but for the most part, journaling, listening to music. Queen of Four, she has a book. I have read through it. I want to do the work, but there's a lot of stuff I gotta get. I gotta get all these crystals, herbs, teas, and everything. So I want to do that. This woman work and see how that plays out.
And you know what? This is how I know that I have officially reached auntie status. Grocery shopping. Specifically, Wegmans and Trader Joe's. I don't know what it is. But I'll put my little workout outfit on. I ain't going to work out though.
Right.
I look like your average suburban auntie with big glasses on. Yes. And I'll push my little cart through Trader Joe's and I'll buy myself some flowers and put them in my dining room. Just I don't know why it makes me feel good.
Trader Joe's is a vibe. Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there. Trader Joe's is a vibe.
It's a whole vibe. Like 3 years ago, I'd have been like, "What?" But now, that is my jam. I love it. Yep. I don't know.
I like to bake too. So when I was in therapy, she suggested I find something.
Product yet. I haven't seen all the pictures.
I'm working through it, so it's still a work in progress.
No.
I got you.
I want to be the tester in the work in progress.
Make them biscuits.
I seen the biscuits on Facebook. Okay.
It wasn't the dump biscuits.
It wasn't, but it was those biscuits.
Okay.
I got you.
Thank you. 3037 Hamilton Avenue. Let's drop them all right here. Friendships and mental health. Women. I have a friend or two, maybe.
So I think I have a best friend.
Okay.
We've been friends since Fifth grade. That's my go-to person. I think my issue is now I have to find other friends to vent to as well.
Okay.
I need to cultivate some other friendships because I can't just rely on her. She has her own things and what she's going through.
Let her decide that. That's what my friend told me. Let me decide
That's
that.
true. That's
yeah,
true.
but at the same time, it's a whole bunch of... And I think we trauma bonded, so that might be a little issue there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to... She's really pretty much the only friend I got. I have associates, but not anybody that I will go to and like seriously vent to.
Gotcha. I get you.
Yeah, I would say that I am blessed that I have a couple of circles of girlfriends that I've known for quite some time. So I do have a support system. I am glad that I am a woman because what I've noticed is that with men, a lot of times y'all don't open up to each other in the way that we do.
Not at all.
Like after my dad passed, how people like come through the receiving line or whatever. When my brother's friends was coming through and they were hugging me, because his friends are like my little brothers, right? And I told each one of them, I was like, look out for my brother, because I'm grieving. I'm gonna do what I can for him, but I can only do so much because I'm trying to take care of myself. I know that his wife can only do so much because,
That's right.
She's going to be there as much as she can, but he's not going to open up all of the way.
Right.
And so I told him, I was like, please look out for your boy. And they was like, we got you, sis, we got you. I hate that for y'all.
Yeah.
That y'all don't do that. I don't know why you all don't. So I think that as women, that is a plus that I know with my friends, even though I have a hard time asking for help sometimes, I know that when what hits the fan, I've called them 1-2 o'clock in the morning and them heifers will answer the phone and be like, we ride at dawn. Like, what's up? Like, we good. Like, what do you need? If I need a place to stay, if I need, I ain't never really had to ask for money, thank God. But, a ride. When my dad was sick, I walked out into the lobby. It was 4 of them in the lobby. One person knew. They sent out the group chat, the bat signal. Them heifers was in the lobby. Like, what's up?
Yeah, we don't have that.
I find that it's odd because even though women we open up to each other, but once we get into it, a lot of women are catty and post on all your personal. Men are great friends to open up to. Yeah. And y'all are secret holders.
We are.
So it's crazy.
Because we don't talk to nobody. That's why we're secret holders. So I said this before. Women become friends. You guys become friends for a very good reason. Like, you went through something. Me and grew up together, this, that, and the third. Men become friends because Jim has a grill. Like, so we went to Jim house 3-4 times, just talking about football. Now me and Jim are friends. So there's nothing deep with our friendship the majority of the time, unless we grew up in the sandbox together. So that's why a lot of times we don't speak to each other. But we rarely do. Like, I have a best friend, known him since I was 15. I've been through a lot of things, some things he doesn't even hear, and vice versa.
How deep do y'all go though? And when I say deep, like, your emotions or your feelings or stuff that you're going through.
So he knows about my depression.
Okay.
He doesn't know when I go through my bouts. He just know I disappear for a little bit, and then I come back and he's like, "You good? I'm good," and that's it. That's
Does
just.
You know what that is?
Huh? Yeah. Sometimes.
But he don't like. And I know this is nothing against your friend. I'm just asking, like, so if y'all were women. And if they would have known, okay, I ain't heard from him in a minute. He probably going through his thing. When you come back, it would have been more than just you good. It would have been, what happened, sis? Like, you want to talk about it? Like, let's go out to eat. Like, tell me what's going on. And we probably would share.
Right.
We probably be like, girl, I don't know what happened, but this, yada, 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 and I just had to get away. And this, because that's what I did when I went off the grid a couple weeks ago. I got a phone call with one of my homegirls, and she was like, I ain't heard from you in 4 days. You got 30 minutes, and I'm about to pull up. And then I called her, because I was like, no, she really about to pull up. But they were like, we're concerned what happened. And they wasn't going to let it rest until I gave them something. I'm good wasn't going to be enough.
My female friends are like that. When they don't hear from me, they don't see me, or they don't even see me post, I get the call. And if I don't get the call, it's like, we will pull up to the house. Yeah. Put the dog up. Because we don't want to hurt the dog. So we will pull up. So yeah, my female friends do that. It's male friends, not at all. Not at all. There's been times where I canceled the show here because I was going through something. Like my dog passed away, and I canceled the show. And then they didn't ask me why. It was like, cool, we got a day off. And that's just what it was. So like, yeah, like it's just, it is what it is. So, but yeah, like as long as I have my female friends and some cousins that are there, I'm good. Me and him, we know it's all right. Like he done been through divorces. I never asked him what's up. I just like, you good? Yeah, I'm good. She crazy. I'm like, oh, are you sure she crazy? Or we all? He's like, all right, we both crazy. But
I need y'all to do better. I need y'all to do so much better. I really do. Hey, best friend, I know you won't listen to this, so we gotta do better. And we got a live show coming up, so stay tuned for that. But but hopefully next week, because we have a men panel coming up next week.
I can't wait to see that.
I can't wait.
Yeah, because there's a person on that panel that I'm really interested to see if he opens up. So, yeah, we're going to do first steps, baby steps. So we're going to get it out there.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So, any advice for women out there about mental health or anything? This, that, and the third. Since I was dropping jewels and gems through this whole entire episode, and I appreciate y'all so much.
I would definitely say, first of all, pot, kettle, okay? Like you said earlier, mental health is a journey, and it's not linear, right? So you don't, hey, I found out I had anxiety or depression, or I'm dealing with grief or coming off of a trauma. I went to therapy and now I'm good and we're done. Yeah. It's circular, right?
That's how I thought it was going to be.
And it's not. Like you could be good. Like you said, you have bouts. So you could be good for 2-3 months, happy go lucky. Even if bad stuff happens, you're able to jump those hurdles and be fine. And sometimes you just not. Like the other day, I had a complete meltdown over a sweatshirt. It wasn't a sweatshirt, right? But it manifested itself on the sweatshirt. And so, with the tools that I've learned in therapy, I was able to say to myself, "Okay, you know what? This ain't about that shirt. What's really going on?" So, I would just say, know that it's not linear. Know that it's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to go to therapy multiple times. And use the tools that they give you in therapy. Like I like to call them my toolbox. And so recognize when you're about to go through something, or recognize when you're going through it, how to kind of stop and cope, and also get good coping skills. Not overeating or drinking or drugs or
did all that.
Amazon and shopping, because Lord, the online shopping was a thing for me. I'm trying to make sure the gym is my thing. I'm trying to do that. In anything that's not going to hurt yourself or anybody else, whatever that looks like for you. If it's cooking, baking, whatever that is. So that's my thing. And lean on people. I know. It's so hard. It's so hard. But I'm learning that sometimes you got to do it.
So what I would say is we are not superwomen. it is okay for that key to come off.
Mm-hmm.
It is okay to fall apart. Find whatever place, whether it's the bathroom. And if you have kids, they say turn on the water so your kids don't hear you crying, and you can just have a good cry there. I've cried a lot in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
Find you a person that you can go to, and if you don't have a person and you are afraid of therapy, you're not ready for the therapy step, I would suggest journaling, or maybe, look, we got all these gadgets on the phone. Get an app where you can just record yourself, just vent it out.
Mm-hmm.
You can delete it after, because it's so. I find that once you either talked it out with yourself or somebody else, or written it down, you've already worked through the problem a little bit. You got everything out. You got it off your chest. It's not sitting there anymore. Mm-hmm. And another thing, so Grey's Anatomy was my favorite show, and Meredith, she was going through her therapy session, and I think it was a situation that broke her, and she was upset, and her therapist met her in the elevator, and she asked her therapist what was the point, and her therapist was saying the point is to know that everything can go wrong, but you'll still be okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I will say, not that he's my favorite person on earth, but I've listened to some of Steve Harvey's motivational.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Dr. Umar.
Oh.
Hold up.
You know me way
I
better
know.
than
I
that. But he said something that really struck me, and he said, always remember, you have a 100% success rate of your worst days.
Mm.
And that hit me. And I was like, wow, that means that everything I've gone through, all the traumas, the deaths, the breakups, the abuse, whatever, I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
I got bumps and bruises and all of that, but I'm still here.
That's right.
So.
Okay. All right. And lastly, what are some bad coping mechanisms that you all been through, but you overcame it? So for people out there who are doing it probably now, they can probably say, hey, I don't know how to get it past this. What are some of the things you did? I know.
Sex for me was a big one. That was, I guess, my way of finding intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good way, but for the most part, it was sex and isolation. Isolation is not good, because you will just, if you ruminate long enough,
Mm-hmm.
you'll find yourself on a ledge, literally and figuratively.
And by the way, this is the very first time I ever heard ruminate. Is today. I just want y'all to know that.
Really?
Yeah, y'all educated me. I promise you, I've never heard that word.
Really?
Like my brain was like toe up. Like,
yes, that is a therapy
You're
buzzword
welcome.
right there.
my therapist never said it to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you so very much.
I would expect ruminate at the bottom.
Oh, absolutely. That might be the name of this episode, right?
Right. It's gonna be every show he does.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Ruminate.
Ruminate.
You gotta ruminate your Oreos. Like what?
I definitely agree with you on isolation.
Oh wait. How did you get past that? Or are you still doing that from time to time?
I think the kickoff was when I was in high school, because a lot of stuff I went through I thought was normal, and so I think they had a school-based health clinic, and so the nurses went in and asking me questions. So I'm just running off my mouth talking about my traumas, not knowing their traumas, and so the nurse looking at me, she was like, maybe we need to talk to our counselor. And so once I started talking to the counselor, I started learning some coping mechanisms there, and then eventually to my therapist, shout out to the Patia. She's helped a lot, and she was my soundboard. So I will say stuff, and I think a lot of times I don't process things, and so when I'm talking to her, she's like, now girl, and then she will just say whatever, and then I'm like, you know what, you're right, that don't sound right. And also I had to want to do the work. That's a big thing. You have to want to do the work. You have to. And for a long time, I did it. I thought if I just go to a therapy session here or two, maybe do one homework assignment or two,
Yeah.
then
I'm
everything
cured.
is fixed.
Yeah.
But no, it's an ongoing process.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, when I find myself going into these moments where I want to, like as far as sex, like, you know what, I'm bored, or I'm going to do this, let me go hit y'all. Then I'm like, you really want to do that?
Mm.
You don't want to do that, do you? Do you? And then I think about it, and then one time I almost followed through.
Okay.
And then at the end, it was like, no, I left him on red. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the isolation was and is my go-to coping mechanism, and I'm not even going to sit here on your show in front and say that I got through it, because I'm still very much, I have to fight that. It is a struggle all of the time. When things are not going well, or just when I'm overcome, I want to shut off everybody. So I try to get out of that by prayer and
don't talk about Big Mama. Big Mama was right.
and honestly, like, I thank God that I have a dog, because the dog keeps me, like, you know, he has to be walked, he has to be fed, like, so, you know, kind of like having a kid, like you, at minimum, I'm gonna get the sun on my face, okay? And I would say the other thing that was big for me that was a bad coping mechanism, which I still do, is staying busy. So, and not necessarily like, so you know how like people use drugs or alcohol as a coping mechanism, and so they get high to forget what they're going through, and then when they come down, whatever they're running from is still there. So I know for me, and this is the first time I've ever like really admitted this outside of a few people, I will jam my schedule with stuff, you know, get up on a Saturday, go out here running errands that don't need to be ran.
Drive to Baltimore, have a conversation.
Exactly. You know, buying stuff that don't need to be bought, walking aimlessly around Target, just to be doing something so that I'm not sitting in the house, because I'm scared to isolate, right? So so I'm using one coping mechanism to cancel the other.
Gotcha.
And that's not healthy, because then you come home with a bunch of bags.
Yeah.
Or, you know, doggy bags from the restaurant or wherever it is you're going, or even if it's hanging out with friends and stuff, you come home and whatever it is that you're running from in your head, it's still there. And so, like you said, you have to want to do the work. You have to get in therapy. You have to journal or whatever it is that you're doing, because that's the only way that you're going to work through it. And I'm very much, I had gotten through that, but with the grief that I'm dealing with my father, and the guilt that I'm dealing with my father, it threw me back in it. And so now I'm having to really claw my way out of that. So you caught me on the show at a point where I am in the throes of doing the work. And it's hard. It's very hard.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. I have one more question. Because thanks to Andrea, it popped in my head. But this is seriously the last question. And that's my thing, too. I just keep going and keep going. But, yeah.
Ruminating.
That's what that is?
No.
Oh, I'm about to say, wait a minute.
I'm messing with you.
I'm doing it. Therapist. Does it matter? As Michael Jackson said, they're black or white.
To me?
As women of color.
To me.
She's about to offend everybody. Go ahead.
Hey, listen, after Tuesday, I don't care who I offend. No, for me, it has to be a black woman therapist, because there's just some things that they are only going to understand, because we're not one-dimensional, right? So I may go to you about dealing with the loss of a parent, but that may show up in other ways. So if I need to talk to you about my perimenopause and how my hormones are affecting me or whatever, you know, some random white guy is not going to know what I'm talking about, or the intersectionality of being Black in America or being Black in corporate. Or I need somebody that's going to understand that. So for me, it does matter. They have to look like me.
Okay.
Yeah.
She has to look like me. Because I need to feel, even though she's my therapist, but like my previous therapist, I need her to talk to me like my homegirls would talk to me.
That's what made me think of the question when you said that.
Because she'll check me real quick. Now, girl, Andrea, and she'll give me that look. All right, set me straight. So yes, I appreciate having a Black woman as my therapist, because I don't think no one else can relate. There's no relatability.
Okay.
And I need you to relate to me, and I need to be able to relate to you. Like my previous therapist, she will pull from her own life, and then we'll figure something out.
Okay. Thank you, ladies. This was eye opening for me.
It's probably the most ever talked on the podcast.
You have. That's crazy.
They go, Mac and Mitch go see this. Gonna be like, oh, you gonna talk for him?
That's right. That's right. You know, I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you all. Yeah, eye opening. Learned a new word today. Always a good thing. It's one word, right?
Yeah, ruminate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make sure. All right. For the people at home, can you tell them where they can find you if you want to be found?
Sure. You can find me.
Dope podcast alert.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me on Instagram at the Melanin 360 podcast. Everything that I do about the podcast is there. You can also go to my website, www.melanin-360.com. And I did take a hiatus for the show this year because of some personal things, but I'm coming back strong in January 2025. So I hope that you all tune in and listen and share.
That's right.
Well, you can find me, BP, AYS_Andrea on Instagram.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, they not getting my Facebook.
And and maybe a verses here and there, she'll be here too. So.
Maybe.
So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Old listeners, new listeners, young listeners, old listeners. I appreciate you all. It's been another episode of the Jest3r's Court, and I am the Jester, Pablo. You know who I am. Stay tuned next time for part 2. Different set of women with a different set of answers. And then also look out for the men's panel. That's going to be very, very interesting. Because I'll be talking a whole lot more on that one. So, until next time, I bid you all adieu.